So this week I finally hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. And I don't like to use the word followers because I feel like we shouldn't be following people. And plus, people put too much stock in followers. That's kind of what they live and die by, you know? You tend to get judged by how many followers you have or the lack thereof. And it is the bar in which you were measured by being a content creator or influencer or whatever for that matter. And I just want to let everyone know who follows me. Y'all are not followers to me. You all are family. You all are friends. Y'all are my team. Without you, DYSG is nothing. I could put out content all day, but if I don't have someone there to consume that content, then what am I? I'm just a guy who talks to himself every week about nerd stuff. So to all 1,000 plus of you, to the 100 plus of you who are fans on Facebook, to the 100 plus of you who are subscribers on YouTube, this is my humble, sincere, and utmost thank you. Without you, I am nothing. And I appreciate every single time you listen to the podcast, you watch the video, you like the piece of content, share the piece of content, comment it, whether good or bad. I appreciate every single one of you. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I promise you, the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, blurds and nerds, freaks and geeks, this is Do You Speak Geek, episode 99. Welcome, everybody. This is Do You Speak Geek. I am your host, Nix. This is the podcast where we bring you all the latest and greatest news and reviews inside of the geek realm. Shout out to everybody who has been rocking thus far. And if this is your first time listening, welcome to Do You Speak Geek. Shout out to all subscribers. Shout out to all listeners, watchers, followers, friends, family. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Like I'm really blown away by just y'all's presence in the likes and in the comments. I'm so blown away that y'all like my stuff that much, or you like me or Dono. You know, it's crazy how you guys just have flocked to us, and I don't take any of it for granted. I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. So shout out to y'all. Y'all the real MVPs. If you're listening on Spreaker, that's the home team. Shout out to Spreaker. And if not, then we are on all other major podcast outlets. So wherever you get your podcasts, go ahead and look for Do You Speak Geek and hit that subscribe button. DoYouSpeakGeek.com, the central hub for everything DYSG. The website where you can find all of our blog posts, you can find merch. We got our Blurred Day merch popping over there, so please be sure to head over to DoYouSpeakGeek.com, save it as a favorite, and keep rocking with DYSG. Follow us on social media, Facebook at DYSGFB, Twitter at DYSG_tweets, and Instagram and TikTok at Do You Speak Geek. YouTube, the only place where you can find the Dono and Daddy Show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications, and leave your comments. We want to know what you guys think. Big stories this week. We got a jam-packed show for y'all. So let's do what we do about this time, people. Let's speak geek.
Suit up.
I want to be the very best.
Talk nerdy to me.
All right, folks, we got reviews coming at you at rapid fire. Dune, gorgeous but imperfect, a technical wonder that it feels like it spends too much time trying to set up a third act that never really comes. But overall, visually beautiful movie, excellent casting. Check that out. You, Season 3, or Joe, however you want to call the show. Messy, toxic tribute to Joe and love that culminates in a cautionary tale about settling down with someone just as problematic as you are. So for those of you all who are toxic out there, this is the season for you. Young Justice Phantom's premiere gets off to a strong start with a trip down Mars filled with romance, intrigue, and politics. Definitely looking like it's going to shape up to be better than last season. Lock and Key Season 2. It fixes some of the issues with Season 1 while delivering, it feels like a rushed and underbaked ending. But for those of you who are Lock and Key fans, you'll enjoy it. The Microsoft Surface Pro 8. If you can deal with the extra expense for the design, the Surface Pro 8 will deliver on performance and versatility. Definitely an option when it comes to mobile running a business. So if you're one of the people who are on the go and you run your business, definitely a piece of equipment to get for yourself. NHL 22's various arcade modes have their charm, but it's an uneven installment that puts the focus in the wrong places. Do better, EA, do better. The Evercade handheld. It makes finding and playing retro games much easier with its cartridge-based game collections. While playing retro games anywhere sounds dope, low quality display and a very underwhelming experience overall. So maybe look for other options on that one. Introducing Selma Blair. Very, very riveting. Reveals all facets of herself with humor, honesty, and dignity as she battles multiple sclerosis. Definitely a touching film to watch. And finally, we have The Rift Breaker. It's an addictive, complex, and satisfying RTS bullet hell hybrid, even while it suffers from some very noticeable performance issues. So a few glitches here and there, but overall, dope game. Alright, y'all, the big story this week has got to have been, maybe not the big story, but the wildest story, I should say. Batwoman, Ruby Rose, attacks Warner Brothers and says working conditions were unsafe and hostile. And then the CW and Warner Brothers fires back. So former star of Batwoman, Ruby Rose, released a blistering set of statements aimed at the CW and Warner Brothers, and even some of the co-stars over alleged ill treatment she experienced on set. Quote, "Enough is enough," she wrote in her Instagram stories, before going on to discuss the apparent poor conditions she endured on the CW Arrowverse series. She tagged showrunner Caroline Dries and Berlanti Productions' Sarah Schlechter and Greg Berlantini on the post, which came with a warning. "I want to tell the whole world what really happened on that set. I will come for you so what happened to me never happens to another person again, and so I can finally take back my life and the truth. Shame on you." She continued expressing condemnation towards some of her former co-workers and producers on the show, which she exited after starring in just one season as Kate Kane. Y'all, she really did come for everybody. Rose shared several posts detailing allegations against various people involved in the production, including the Warner Brothers Television Studios chief Peter Roth, who she called out for alleged sexual misconduct and inappropriate behavior. She also took aim at showrunner Caroline Dries, as well as co-stars Dureg Scott and Cameron Johnson. Now, in response to Ruby Rose allegations and mistreatment, Warner Brothers has called out Rose's account as revisionist history. In a statement to The Hollywood Reporter, a spokesperson said despite the revisionist story that Ruby Rose is now sharing online aimed at the producers, the cast and crew, the network, and the studio, the truth is that Warner Bros. Television had decided to not exercise its option to engage Ruby for season 2 of Batwoman based on multiple complaints about workplace behavior that were extremely reviewed and handled privately out of respect for all concerned. I still thought that her leaving the show after just one season was kind of weird, especially being the star of the show, you know? Like when you are the title character and for you to just up and leave with really no explanation whatsoever, there was definitely shenanigans at foot. And now we're seeing that this is coming to the light. Now, when you think about what has been said by other Warner Brothers stars who starred in DC properties, like, of course, you have Gal Gadot who said something. Even we had Jason Momoa once come out, and most notably Ray Fisher, who had an entire campaign behind how Warner Brothers just has these bad practices behind closed doors. It kind of makes you wonder, what is Warner Brothers doing with this old Hollywood way of kind of treating talent? And with the sexual misconduct and just inappropriate behavior, it makes you not even want to be a part, it makes you not even want to be a part of the process of being in these shows, but not even watching them. You know, it's only so many times that we can hear the same story before we just go, oh damn, maybe there's something to this. Maybe everyone's telling the truth about these people. So if you ask me, I'm kind of believing Ruby on this one, because it's just too much going on with Warner Brothers and their TV and movie allegations. It's just too much. So yeah, I believe Ruby on this one, but that's just me. What do you guys think? Let's hop into my favorite portion of the show. Y'all know the vibes. Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the Source Wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, Stan. Let's hop right into it. The pull list this week. We have Harbinger number 1. Peter Stanchek is the most powerful telepath on the planet, and the sole being capable of activating powers in others like him. The Harbinger will trace Peter's path from the most feared man in the world to one of its greatest protectors. This character-driven journey will introduce new allies, new villains, new costumes, and a new meaning for the title of Harbinger. This one sounds amazing. I can't wait to pick this one up. Definitely my indie pick of the week, so definitely check that one out this week. Inferno number 2. Feel the fire. Secrets. Lies. They have a way of coming out and biting you when you least expect them. The secrets and lies of Krakoa will shake it to its foundation. Head of X Jonathan Hickman continues a tale of consequences with one of his first Marvel collaborators, artist Stefano Caselli. Inferno has been great. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on the ground floor. Get it while it's good. Spawn 323. Spawn, now alone, is free to pursue those that have made it their mission to hurt the people he cares most about. And if heaven and hell were not enough for him to battle, a new force, bigger than even those two, is growing. What is bigger than heaven and hell? Will Spawn have to join forces with those he hates the most? Plus, the return of another classic villain from Spawn's past makes an unexpected appearance. I wonder who that will be. You'll have to check it out. Task Force Z number 1. On A-Day, hundreds of Gotham City's most dangerous and deranged criminals were left for dead after an attack on Arkham Asylum, and now they're getting a second chance at life. A mysterious benefactor is bringing together a new task force and has recruited the only person who could lead them, someone who knows what it's like to come back from a brutal death, the Red Hood. Now, Jason Todd has to unravel the mystery surrounding this team of the recently deceased while leading a lineup of some of Gotham City's worst criminals who's ever lived. Bane, Man-Bat, the Arkham Knight, Sundowner, and Mr. Bloom. Mr. Bloom was my guy back during that story where Gordon had took over the role of Batman. I liked Bloom. Maybe that's just me. This one sounds dope. Keeping up with the spooky season, we have DC versus Vampires number 1. It's a special standalone 12-issue maxi series that will pit the Justice League against a secret army of vampires, leading our heroes to an unsure of who they can trust. Let's go though. DC Comics Heroes versus Vampires, let's get it. Icon and Rocket Season 1 number 4. At this point, it feels like there's nobody on Earth who isn't hunting for Rocket and Icon. And as powerful as they may be, there's always a way to get to someone's friends or family. Does Icon even have the strength to put the forces they've unleashed back in the bottle? And more crucially, does he want to? Good book though. Definitely a milestone and they're not missing. Hardware Season 1, Number 3. So Long, Dakota. With bridges burned and allies abandoned, Curtis Metcalf is on the move. He's tracked down Edwin Alva, former partner Asher Sim, in Singapore to get the truth about their early days and find some leverage he can use. But can Sim be trusted? Or is he as dangerous as Alva? Ooh, gotta find out for sure. And finally, we have Second Chances Number 3. The sordid history of LeBlanc and Miss Nobody's messy affair is finally revealed in a flashback to Rio. Surprisingly, a healthy relationship cannot be forged on a foundation of gunplay, heavy drugs, and deep, dark secrets. Go figure. Those are your picks, people. Please be sure to pick those up at your local comic book store this Wednesday. Let's watch this.
Watch this, y'all. Thunder. Thunder. Thunder.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude. I am the villain of the story.
Alright, people, we have the Uncharted movie trailer finally released. Definitely a soft spot in my heart for Nathan Drake. The first trailer of the Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg has finally been released, including set pieces that look strikingly like moments from the game itself. The trailer shows a young Nathan Drake as a bartender meeting Mark Wahlberg's Sully before the two embark on an adventure. We also get the mention of Nathan's brother Sam, who players met in Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Antonio Banderas' character is the antagonist, a rival treasure hunter with seemingly a lot more resources. There are also multiple scenes that look to be based on the game, from a maroon pirate ship to the sequence from Uncharted 3 in which Drake is dragged behind a cargo plane. There are also musical cues and individual relics that players will remember from the games. The trailer also appears to solve a long-running siege of whether Mark Wahlberg's Sully will have a mustache. The answer, it seems, is that he will not have one, at least not in the beginning. The movie arrives on February 18th and will be released in theaters only, rather than taking a day and date streaming approach. I'm fine with that. It's time to get back to the theaters anyway. I've already been going to theaters myself, staying safe, but still going to theaters. And Uncharted is definitely one I am going to be watching day one. The fact that it's starring my dude, Tom Holland from the MCU, Mark Wahlberg, dope guy, Antonio Banderas, dope guy, and it's Uncharted. Absolutely one of my favorite gaming series ever. So yeah, February 18th, I'm definitely there day one. You should too. Speaking of the MCU, Marvel delays Doctor Strange 2, Thor 4, and even more titles. Walt Disney Studios announced a shakeup of its upcoming film releases schedule. The movies include several upcoming Marvel Studio releases from the MCU. The films affected stretch into 2023, including Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Quantumania, and one of its upcoming untitled titles as well too. Two other movies, including one suspected to be Blade, have been removed from the schedule entirely. The delays also affected Disney's upcoming Indiana Jones sequel. A live-action Disney movie and 20th Century Fox production has also been removed from the schedule. Now, some of you may think, oh, this is in response to fandom. You really think that Disney is afraid of DC and Warner Brothers? Come on, get out of here. But there is a reason for this. I expect to hear why during D23. But until then, it is what it is. Have to wait a little longer, people. But it's fine because Marvel does not disappoint. I completely trust Kevin Feige. That's what it is. Now, the Batgirl movie has cast Bad Boy for Life's Jacob Scapillo. He has joined the cast of HBO Max's Batgirl, the feature film star Leslie Grace in the title role. There are no details yet on what role he will play, which is set to be directed by Bad Boys for Life directors Adil El Aribi and Bilal Falal. Scapillo appeared in that film before moving on to appear in Pieces of Her for Netflix in the upcoming fourth installment of The Expendables, which will see Sylvester Stallone step away from the franchise making only a brief appearance before turning the keys over to Jason Statham. According to Deadline, who broke the news, J.K. Simmons is also set to return as Commissioner Gordon. We knew he was in talks, but this sounds very familiar. Simmons was cast in the Snyder Cut for Justice League and has also signed on for 3 more movies, which at the time was expected to include both the Batman and Justice League sequel, neither of which came up to pass in the way the studio expected at the time. So far, his only follow-up, Justice League, was expected to be the director's cut of the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. As for Jacob, though, I think he's going to possibly portray Barbara's brother. If you all read Batgirl during the New 52, Batgirl's brother was a bit of an a-hole and a dick, and I think he'll be playing that title, that role in the movie, but we'll see. Now, the Smallville animated series, people, it is very, very real, and I am quite excited. So after the word spread about the animated series via an unlikely source, original series stars Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum have confirmed it's in development and said that it will address questions of where the original characters are now. Speaking to IGN, Welling explained what happened when he let it slip during a cameo video. Of all things, right? A cameo video. It turns out when he asked the recipient to keep it a secret, he wasn't joking. Quote, I was being honest with that moment and I was like, literally, don't tell anybody. And that person posted it 30 seconds later. I mean, what did you think was going to happen, Tom? Really? Welling made clear that the project is very real, with Rosenbaum adding, quote, it's something that we're passionate about, something we love. Hopefully we're going to obviously share with Warner Brothers when the time is right. And hopefully we'll be able to work with them. And that's about all we can say right now. When asked about what kind of stories the series will tell, the stars were very vague, but did make it clear that they will see a lot of scopes to continue naturally from the original series. Quote, there's a lot of stories, explained Rosenbaum. I mean, honestly, after Smallville ended, people had a lot of questions. And who's to say? What's happening in the next few years? Where did the characters go? How will they come back? So there's always story there. There's always story to be told. Welling made clear this would be a story past the end of Smallville's original run, rather than the same timeline. Here we are 20 years later since it started, and one of the most frequent questions is, where do you see the characters now? So that's literally what we'll be addressing. Being a big Smallville fan myself, I cannot wait for this animated series. We definitely are going to see a lot of the characters where they are now and what they'll be doing. I can think of one character in particular that we will not be seeing anything of, and that's probably Chloe. But I'm in. Let's see what's going on with this. The first Cowboy Bebop trailer for Netflix has dropped. Exactly 1 month away from the premiere, the streaming giant has released what might be called a standalone short for the upcoming anime adaptation, giving fans a feel of what to expect in a new live-action show. Cowboy Bebop The Lost Session is a 2-minute special presentation that's a little bit Tarantino, a little bit Scott Pilgrim. Opening with a 70s-style title card complete with film grain, the trailer features Spike, Jet, and Faye exchanging quips and trading barbs as they battle thugs and jump from one scene to the next. Also, in Cowboy Bebop news, the series has now dropped on Netflix, so you can watch that now. Trailer looks dope. I cannot wait for this live action adaptation. It's going to be dope. Beyond dope. Can't wait. And finally, Hayden Christensen will also be in Disney Plus's Osaka Tano series. So, we have him coming back as Anakin Skywalker to reprise that role in that series. Christensen is already slated to return as Anakin in the upcoming Obi-Wan series. The Hollywood Reporter says multiple Lucasfilm and Disney Plus sources have confirmed that Christensen will return as Anakin Skywalker in the Osaka Tano series starring Rosario Dawson. As we all know, Christensen first played Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and his arc through Episode 3 saw him lose to the dark side and eventually become Darth Vader. And as we all know, Anakin Skywalker had a Padawan, and that was Osaka Tano. I'm excited even more now for the Osaka Tano series if I wasn't already excited before. Let's go. These 2 Star Wars series are going to be extremely dope. I cannot wait. Oh man, it's going to be dope. I seriously cannot wait for the Obi-Wan series and Osaka Tano series. I cannot wait. More so, probably even more so than The Mandalorian, if I'm being honest. That's just me. But anyways, let's hop into Thumb Life.
Peace, love, and video games!
It's on like Donkey Kong.
That man is playing Galaga.
Alright gamers, Xbox announces a 20th anniversary event. The event has been announced during the Xbox Wire blog, and it states that the event will take place on November 15th at 10 a.m. East Coast, at 10 a.m. West Coast, 1 p.m. East Coast. While we won't have any new game announcements, this anniversary broadcast will be a special look back at 20 years of Xbox, says head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty. I love saying that name for obvious reasons. But anyway, the announcement came alongside a roadmap for the next 3 months of Xbox Game Pass. Now on October 28th, Age of Empires 4 will be released on Game Pass for PC, and it will be followed by Minecraft, which finally lands on Xbox Game Pass for PC on November 2nd. Forza Horizon 5 drops on November 9th, and the Game of the Year edition for Flight Simulator lands on November 18th. Finally, Xbox rounds out the year with Halo Infinite on December 8th. The promise of no announcements means we're likely not seeing anything from Fable, which Xbox confusingly seems to suggest was coming recently. Booty did specifically announce no new games, though, so that there may be footage from previous announced games if we're lucky, so we'll see what happens there. Good idea, Xbox. Celebrate your Sting. Celebrate that launch. Good idea. Ubisoft is reportedly developing a new Splinter Cell game. Now, it's been reported that a mainline Splinter Cell game is coming. If the rumors prove true, it will be the first core entry in the Tom Clancy stealth series since 2013's Blacklist. A report from VGC claims multiple development sources have revealed that a new Splinter Cell game is in an early phase of production, with a small chance of the game being announced in 2022. The project has apparently been greenlit as part of an effort to appease frustrated Tom Clancy and Splinter Cell fans who've been less than happy with Ubisoft's treatment of the brand over the last decade. No future details were provided in the report aside from the suggestion that the Splinter Cell will be developed outside of Ubisoft's flagship Montreal studio. Ubisoft Montreal developed key Splinter Cell games, including the original Chaos Theory and Conviction. The most recent game, Blacklist, was developed at Ubisoft Toronto. I like that. That's cool that they're really trying to appease to the fans, especially the hardcore fans of the Tom Clancy series of games. Good looking out. That's a good idea. Definitely you want to keep the fans happy because they're the ones who are your bosses pretty much. They buy your games, they pay your salary. So yeah, it's nice that they're going to appease to the fans on this one. And finally, we have the release date of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy with a gameplay trailer. Rockstar has announced that the Grand Theft Auto trilogy will be released on November 11th, with physical releases to follow on December 7th. The news comes alongside a first look at all the updated versions of the classic games. The trilogy will cost $59.99. The 3 remasters include GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas, and they have been created for modern platforms in Unreal Engine by Grove Street Games, which previously worked on the mobile ports for GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, as well as the PS3 and 360 versions of the latter. The trilogy is initially coming to PS5, Xbox Series XS, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC via the Rockstar Games launcher. Rockstar says the games come with a completely rebuilt lighting system, improved shadows, weather and reflections, upgraded characters and vehicle models, along with new higher resolution textures across buildings, weapons, roads, interiors, and more. Draw distances have been improved, new foliage has been added, and surfaces have been smooth. Rockstar has explained that all 3 games also feature quality of life improvements, such as updated controls inspired by GTA 5, improvements to targeting and lock-on aiming, updated weapon and radio station wheels, updated mini maps, and enhanced navigation allowing players to set waypoints to destinations, updated achievements, trophies, and more. Quote, you'll be able to immediately restart a failed mission, cutting out major points of frustration from the originals. Now, I think this is great for those of you who are thinking that we're going to get this trilogy announcement and this definitive edition released and it's going to look like GTA 5. You're mistaken. But I do think that they look great. A lot of the games look like they have been definitely given a nice facelift. And for those of you who've never played these games, this is a good chance for you to hop on though. So definitely do that on November 11th. Let's speak technical for a moment.
Technically speaking,
your technological advancements.
1.21 gigawatts. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Now, technically speaking, Facebook will reportedly change its name to embrace the metaverse. Facebook is reportedly planning to change its name in an effort to reflect its working building up a metaverse. Now, this is a report from The Verge citing a source familiar with the matter. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg reportedly plans to announce the name change at the company's Connect conference on October 28th, if not sooner. The name change could signal Facebook's intentions to grow further beyond a social media company and into more of a tech conglomerate, with Facebook owning Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus VR devices, and other brands. The name change will likely organize every group under one umbrella, similar to Google's change to Alphabet in 2015. Zuckerberg has previously commented on Facebook's intentions to expand into different technology and the metaverse. He told The Verge earlier this year that, quote, we will effectively transition from people seeing us as primarily being a social media company to being a metaverse company. The Verge also reports that the name is closely guarded secret even among Facebook's senior leadership. One theory is that it will take its name from Facebook's unreleased VR platform, Horizon Worlds, previously known as Facebook Horizons. Facebook's rebranding could also have an impact on the negative perception of the company as a major source of information. Earlier this month, a whistleblower and former employee of Facebook testified that the company's prioritized profit over the well-being of its users and leaked confidential documents related to her allegations. As far as changing the name of Facebook, I'm okay with that. I mean, you can call it what you want, but if it's still the same trash ass app, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Who knows? Some people may even leave the new Facebook because of this name change, and who knows what'll happen. But we'll see what happens after October 28th. And finally, Apple's Mac event that happened this past week. So let's go into that real quickly. The AirPod 3rd generation got a huge update with a new design, spatial audio, and touch buttons that will put it more in line with the AirPods Pro. Sorry, I was tripping over that. The new AirPods feature shorter stems and contoured ear tips that better direct sound directly into your ear canal. On top of that, they now feature spatial sound so that you turn your head from your device, the left and right channels will shift audio to match your orientation. The AirPods 3rd generation also offers sweat and water resistance, though Apple hasn't exactly said what the IP rating is. The battery life has also been increased to 6 hours of listening, and the case gives you 4 full-hour charges for a total of 30 hours of listening time. Also, just 5 minutes after charging gives you a full hour of runtime. The AirPods 3rd generation is available for pre-order starting today at $129 and will be available next week. The new MacBook Pro is finally here with new 14 and 16-inch models. I gotta get one. The design has been completely overhauled with a more squared-off chassis, raised feet, the return of MagSafe and HDMI ports and SD card readers, and even a screen notch. The good news, the notch is essentially hidden and integrated into the menu bar at the top of the macOS interface. Now also, ports are back as well. You get HDMI, a headphone jack, an SD card reader, and MagSafe. The MagSafe 3 features a new design that will allow it to carry more power, and you can still charge your device with Thunderbolt, so that's dope. We expected to see a new M1X Mac processor, but Apple flipped the script and announced the two new chips with the M1 Pro and M1 Max. The M1 Pro is essentially the step-up chip from the M1 that launched last year that brings a 10-core CPU and 32 GPU up to a 32 gigabyte of uneiffeled memory and 200 GPSs of memory bandwidth. Comparatively, the M1 has 4 CPU cores and 8 GPU cores. Translated to actual power, the M1 Pro has 2 times the graphical performance of the M1. The M1 Max is basically an even more souped up M1 processor with 10 CPU cores and 32 GPU cores, plus 64 gigabytes of uneiffeled memory and 200 GPSs of memory bandwidth. Apple is making some bold claims about the M1 Max's 70% less power than an 8-core CPU PC and 3.3 times the graphic performance of a high-end PC. The MacBook Pro 14-inch starts at $1999 and the 16-inch at $2499, both available today. Now, Apple is one of the best streaming services out there when it comes to their music, but it's never had playlists, that is, until now. Siri is being updated to deliver playlists based on activities and moods like dinner parties, hiking, yoga, game night, and more. On top of that, Apple is introducing a new voice plan for Apple Music for $5 a month. The idea behind this new plan is listeners will be able to ask Siri to play tunes from selected playlists instead of being able to access the full library on Apple Music, which normally is $10. And the last piece of tech was the HomePod Mini, launched last year with only black and white models, and now the mini Bluetooth speaker is getting a much needed dash of color with yellow, orange, and blue. Apple seems to be doing pretty good here lately. Definitely got to get my hands on one of those MacBooks with that M1 Pro processor. Let's go. Let's put some power behind that thing. Definitely. And it's dope that they have playlists on Apple Music, so that's a good thing too. So for those of you who have Apple Music, put together your playlist and let's battle. Got the better playlist. I got Spotify. Let's go. That's the pod, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all for listening. Please be sure to subscribe to this podcast, like this podcast, let your boy know what you think about this podcast. Visit the website doyouspeakgeek.com, cop that Blurred Day merch. Follow us on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Check out our YouTube channel, like, subscribe to the videos there. As always, people, live to play to win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?